We don't tell you a lot about poll numbers because they're unreliable, and they really are just a snapshot. But holy smokes, Joe Biden's poll numbers are bad, just across the board. All Americans disapprove of his border policies, his handling of inflation, the debacle in Afghanistan. And if all of that was not enough, the Daily Mail reporting today that Joe Biden could be implicated in an FBI investigation into his son Hunter. To assess all of this is Brit Hume. He's our senior political analyst here at Fox News, and for good reason. Brit, thanks so much for coming on. And it's not an age question, it's a wisdom question. So at this moment, according to the Daily Mail...
It's an age question.
It's just a slim percentage. So the Daily Mail says that Biden may have funded some of Hunter's extracurricular activities and that they shared bank accounts. If that's true, that sounds like a big deal, is it?
Well, it would be a big deal, Tucker, if it were shown that Hunter's business activities, some of which are very questionable, redounded to his father's financial benefit. Because clearly Hunter Biden crossed ethical lines in the activities he engaged in, and there was always this howling conflict of interest of his serving, doing business in Ukraine when his father was responsible for policy related to Ukraine. And that's been on the books for a long time. We've all known that. If it were to come out that Joe Biden himself or his campaign or whatever profited from that, that would move the matter up quite another notch and would add one more thing to the reasons why Joe Biden's popularity rating has been plummeting, as you pointed out.
I hate even to say this, but given the behavior of the Attorney General over the past couple of weeks, likening parents to domestic terrorists, can we be certain that the Department of Justice will conduct a free and fair investigation into the president's son and maybe the president?
No. In a word, no.
Yeah.
The one thing that this Merrick Garland has turned out to be, for all of his reputation as being a fine jurist and a man who deserved a seat on the Supreme Court, he appears to be weak as water when it comes to upholding the independence of the Department of Justice and keeping the Justice Department out of politically motivated investigations. This business of having the FBI looking into parents' behavior as if it were some kind of terrorism, it seems to me, is something that no sensible Attorney General would ever allow himself to be involved in or give the green light to, and yet he did it. So, no, I don't think we can depend on that at all. It might depend on investigative journalism to try to uncover this, or congressional investigations if the Republicans ever get control of one or both houses of Congress.
Maybe the New York Post will report on the contents of his... Oh, wait. So, I mean, given that this story, which we first learned about in October of last year, a year ago, was squelched completely by the media titans, I wonder if we can be certain we'll get the details this year.
Well, I would think if the New York Post comes forward again with another story about Hunter Biden, I trust and hope, at least, that the mainstream media outlets who behaved so disgracefully last year when the New York Post broke the earlier story would see the error of their ways and be willing to pick up the story. I would not expect, however, that they would sick their investigative teams on it. They might just follow the story as it appears, day to day. That would be about the most we could hope for, but that's a lot better than nothing, which is what we got last year from these, I think, politically corrupt news organizations.
They'd have to pull a lot of guys off the QAnon army beat to do that, though. Do you think they'd be willing?
Well, I think they'd be hesitant. It's a sad state of affairs, but I think there'd be enough noise made about this that the whole country would be able to hear it. No question about it. Just as the border situation, which was ignored for many months by mainstream media outlets, finally broke through. So, these things can't be suppressed forever. At least one hopes not.
So in 20 seconds, what effect does this have on the midterms, which are a year from now?
Well, anything that redounds to the disapproval of Joe Biden hurts his party in the midterms, and a president's approval ratings and standing with the public is always a major factor in the midterms, especially a president's first midterm after he takes office, in which the president's party historically does badly. So the outlook in the House, at least for the Democrats, is very poor, and it might spill over to the Senate as well, although the map there favors the Democrats. But a big wave election would sweep the Democrats out in both houses, in my view.
Well deserved. Brit Hume, thank you for that analysis. Great to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.